Big Jet 9 Alpha Charlie, climb flight level 300, cross 40 miles before Midhurst, flight level 270 or above.
After establishing the aircraft in a climb to our cleared level, flight level 300, we need to determine whether we can achieve the restriction, flight level 270, 40 before Midhurst. So how can we do this? In the climb page, it will give us a prediction to flight level 300, our initial cleared level, but we can overwrite this with a lower level, in this case 270, to achieve a new calculation. As the restriction is based on Midhurst, we can ensure that Midhurst is in the radio navigation page, displayed on the ND, and also we can use the progress page with a bearing distance too. But rather than use mental maths, we can use the system to help us just a little bit more with a range ring and fix info. By inserting a fix info of Midhurst and the appropriate radius, in this case 40 miles, we now have a visual display on our navigation display of where our climb will be achieved. The blue climb arrow will be to our cleared level, flight level 300, but we can now use the climb page in the FMGC to see where we'll reach the lower level, flight level 270, in this case 38 miles. We're not quite going to meet that restriction, so what can we do about it? Well, if we reduce our airspeed while keeping the thrust in thrust climb, we can see that the aircraft's rate of climb increases and the prediction to flight level 270, the distance reduces. We're improving our climb rate. In this case now, we can see with the reduced airspeed, we are going to make the level restriction 270 or above 40 miles before Midhurst.
Here we are, settled happily in the cruise, heading southbound over the Bay of Biscay. Everything is normal. Your captain is reminiscing about how great life was on mainline when...
Captain, we have a medical situation on board.
So, I guess we better tee up the diversion. We already know that the weather and approach aids are suitable in Santiago, so let's insert a new destination. Selecting a waypoint on the left-hand side of the screen will bring up the lateral revision page. From there we can type in the 4-letter ICAO code of our new destination, LEST, and insert that by pressing the key next to New Destination. Inserting the amber temporary flight plan using the prompt on the bottom right, the FMS indicates cost index 0, which we will later clear. Pressing the lower left key allows us to select the new arrival from the lateral revision page, and from there we select an appropriate approach, in this case the RLS to runway 17. We then select a star if required, and insert the arrival into the flight plan. Here we clear the cost index. The 0 indicates that the aircraft is proceeding economically. We now switch to plan mode to confirm that we're happy with the routing we have in the FMS. As we omitted the selection of a star previously and are proceeding with some urgency, we now select the direct key and from there select the Santiago VOR on the left-hand side to proceed direct to the airfield. We can of course route direct to a more expeditious point on the approach, such as the final fix, once an appropriate further clearance has been obtained. As a further note, we could have also planned the diversion using a secondary flight plan using a similar technique as used later in this video. Big Jet 9 Alpha Charlie, when ready, descend flight level 270, be level 5 miles before Liffey.
270 is our cleared descent level. Let's insert that in the flight control unit. The clearance was descend when ready to a point 5 miles before Liffey. That point isn't in the active flight plan, so we can use the PD, or place distant feature, within the FMGC to create a new point, Liffey /-5, 5 before Liffey. The FMGC asks us to select heading track first, which we can do, remembering to re-engage nav mode after inserting the new point. Now we have a point 5 miles before Liffey, we can insert a level constraint, flight level 270. And with this inserted, the FMGC will recalculate a new descent profile to achieve flight level 270, 5 miles before Liffey, and we can see the descent arrow approaching the nose of the aircraft. As we approach the descent arrow, We engage a manage descent mode, that is descent, with Alt blue, and the aircraft commences its descent, maintaining an appropriate descent to reach flight level 270 5 miles before Liffey. And as you can see, a few minutes later, the aircraft has descended appropriately and met the level constraint.
Here we are again on the way to Tenerife, expecting an arrival via Brick and ESOPA to land westerly on runway 25. If we look at the weather forecast, the wind looks like it might swing round for our arrival to favour the other runway end. It seems prudent to mitigate this with a backup plan, a plan B, or you might even say a secondary plan.
Big Jet 9 Alpha Charlie, runway change in progress, runway 07 in use, you're cleared the Comba 1 X-ray arrival.
In receipt of this new clearance, we press the secondary flight plan key on the MCDU to reveal the secondary index page. Note the white route is now displayed on the navigation display, showing our alternative pre-planned route to destination. As the aircraft is currently in nav mode, heading is selected before returning to the secondary index page and selecting the amber prompt Activate Secondary. As the aircraft is still in heading mode, the new route is displayed dash green on the navigation display. By using the direct to function to the next waypoint, Brick, nav mode is re-engaged, sequencing the flight plan and thereby removing the flight plan discontinuity. Getting ever closer to Tenerife now, we find ourselves partway through the Ortis R nav arrival, routing via various waypoints for the ILS Zulu runway 07.
Big Jet 9 Alpha Charlie, turn left heading 165 degrees, vectors ILS Zulu runway 07.
Pulling the heading selector knob and turning to 165 degrees disengages nav mode and the aircraft banks to the left to acquire the new heading. Note the flight plan is now dash green on the navigation display. By using the direct to function to extend the center line, we can sequence the flight plan correctly, so that a missed approach will be available in the event of a go-around. Selecting waypoint TS710 creates an amber temporary flight plan. Using the radial in function, typing in the reciprocal course 253 for an inbound track of 073 degrees creates an amber straight line from the waypoint on the navigation display. Pressing insert arms nav mode in blue turns the track on the navigation display solid green, setting the aircraft up to acquire the inbound course. However, as we are expecting further vectors, we pull heading to disengage nav. Nav blue now disappears from the FMA line 2 on the primary flight display.
Big Jet 9 Alpha Charlie, descend altitude 2,500 feet, turn left heading 130 degrees, cleared ILS approach runway 07.
Upon receiving this further clearance, we descend the aircraft as instructed, in this case using vertical speed mode whilst turning onto a heading of 130 degrees. When cleared for the approach, we arm the approach push button along with engaging the second autopilot. GS and lock are displayed in blue along with Cat 3 dual and AP1+2 on the FMA, and the aircraft is now set up for localizer and glide path capture with the flight plan correctly sequenced.